Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to say Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters, Yakim Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. And this is a follow up to the lesson I did yesterday. And, a preemptive salakia for that. This morning, my wife brought it to my attention that I had just accidentally re-uploaded uh, the video various topics from June 1st. It's June, right? We're in June. Yep, that's right. And it's it's fixed now. All right, uploaded, same title and everything. But when I make these videos, let's see if I redo it so you can see this is the one that's recording right now. It'll just have the title. I guess this is the original video right here of the one that was accidentally re-uploaded twice. Um, I guess I never ended up naming it. I guess I just dragged it into YouTube and named it there. So it looked like this as well. I just didn't check the date, and I didn't pay enough attention because I thought I already named it. But there was two, and I guess I selected the wrong one. So slack you for that. It's fixed now. So it's the actual video. But yeah, it was this video right here uploaded twice until my wife brought it to my attention. So call all you how about me? That was caught because that's not good. I was upset at first because I was like, oh shit, I hope I didn't delete it. But call all you how about me? Shot was all well and good. But yeah, so following up to this, so I don't a lot of brothers and sisters might not have seen it yet because of the late upload, because of the issues with it. As you can see, it was just uploaded 6 hours ago. But this video was titled Johnathan Joss, voice actor from King of the Hill, shot dead. And I was dealing with this guy, Johnathan Joss. All right, he voiced John Redcorn and did some stuff in Parks and Recreation as well, which is a show that I'm not too familiar with. I'm more familiar with King of the Hill. Not the biggest fan of it, as I mentioned in that video, but I used to watch it when in between if Family Guy wasn't on or something back when I was a kid. So yeah, and in this, you find out that he was a homosexual, and they were living there, and their house burnt down, and I started looking in to it more and more, and there's some fishy shit going on. All right, and that's what I'm here talking about today. Basically, this lesson's about Idumean and Esau lies, right? Idumean, Esau, whatever you want to call them. All right, the so-called white man, Idumeans, Edomites. All right, descendants of Cain, however you want to call them. All right, Edomites. All right, the so-called white man, and their deceptive little practices. All right. So for those of you that are in the know, all right, we're currently in June, all right, which is the proclaimed Pride Month, all right, in which you're going to see a lot of sodomite behavior, all right, a lot of different controversies, a lot of crusading, as they would call it, going around and marching around, and make it seem like they have it so bad, right? They have it so bad. Well, usually if you do something bad, usually bad things happen to you. So that's probably why you have it so bad, is because you're doing bad, right? But so yeah, like I said, I don't know necessarily what I'm gonna call this lesson. Something along the lines of this whole Jonathan Joss situation stinks, or this stinks of a psyop, or something along those lines. So first and foremost, I want to go ahead and get what the word psyop means. All right, it says a psyop is a military term that stands for psychological operations. It involves using psychological methods to influence the emotions, motives, and behavior of target audiences, aiming to achieve a desired effect. All right, in the United States, all right, that's funny. It says United States. That was coined by the military. All right, there's actually a psyop division in the military. Um, but they actually have a logo. You can go and see a psyop. They're part of the special operations. All right, spec ops. I guess they're part of the army. All right, the fourth psyop group. So you can go and see that they have a psychological operations group. There's psyops aren't real. Psyops aren't real. They're a real thing. All right, they're a real thing. This one was activated in 26th of August 2011 at Fort Bragg. So yeah, they are a thing, and they have multiple different groups of psychological operations units. All right, this one right here, you can see decisive influence. All right, decisive influence. Um, so yeah, man. That's what they do. They run these psyops on the American people. All right, and influence emotions, motives, and behavior of the target audiences, and the big proportion of the people targeted are Americans, but the whole world is really targeted, right? So it's a big psyop, and these psyops they do these methods. All right, whether it's overblowing something, whether it's false flag events, they do a bunch of different things. All right, it's a whole part of psychological operations. It's different operations. They do different things. But one of the big one is the media. All right, the media is a giant psyop. Everything's a psyop. All right, really, I believe it's one. Was it Apostle Tahar that said that? I believe it was one of the apostles that everything's a psyop. Everything is a psyop. It's a psychological operation that's used to influence and convey emotion within you. Or another word you'll hear us use quite frequently is uh, uh, indoctrination. All right, indoctrination is another form of psyop. All right, is getting someone to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. All right, you take something that is usually criticized, homosexuality, transgenderism, different types of things like that, and then you run a psyop, all right, which is again a psychological method to influence the emotions, motive, or behavior of the target audience. And what you do is you put that into media, all right, whether it's music, video games, comics, all right, books, all right, and different things like that. I don't remember if I said music, but music, movies, TV shows, books, games, all right, comics, any type of media, all right, that is out there, and you start putting homosexual or transgender things, or I'm just using that as an example. Anything that you're trying to do the psyop on, all right, or the indoctrination and make somebody accept uncritically, all right, and all this is a bunch of bullshit. It builds. You start in the '80s, and you build until it's so widespread and widely seen that it's not really people aren't really as critical as they were. All right, so and that's one of the things they do. And another psyop they can do is artificial outrage. All right, another what do they call it? You hear the brothers talk about it. They call man, I can't remember what, but artificial outrage, manufactured outrage. I think that's what the brothers call it, manufactured outrage. And that's what they do, agents and all these different types of things. They have all these different things. That's the whole thing about having a military unit is they have all these different things at their expenses. D- Dispense, expense, or dispense. One of them, expense, at their expenses. Disposal. There you go. We'll just use that one. So they have all these different things at their disposal. And looking in more of this Jonathan Joss situation, enough of the rambling and getting back to it, looking in more of this Jonathan Joss situation, it stinks of psyop. All right, it stinks of bullshit. All right, it has bullshittery all surrounded on it. Now I got it all on my phone, um, but I'll go actually and just look it up, and try to find it that way for you. So one of the things that I want to touch on, I got some things saved. All right, so we're gonna head over to Reddit. I'm gonna pause this real quick just in case any of my info comes up. So bear with me 1 minute. We'll hop right over. All right, we're back. So yeah, I'm glad. Well, actually, you know what? 1 minute. Whatever. I'll just put a note on it. Um, just put a note. Where are we at? 8 minutes. All right, I'll just do that. I got to blur. My name came up on the side here, but several places actually. So it wasn't never originally did that, but whatever. We'll fix it. Actually, you know what? Bear with me. I'll pause again. All right, we're back. I realized it went to the. You know what? 1 minute. All right, we're back. Slocky. I had to do it several times because info kept popping up. They never used to do that. The whole reason for one of the plugins was that it was cool that I was able to block my Reddit name out. All right, because you got weirdos out there that'll come start messaging you, hey you motherfucker, and doing all sorts of weird shit. All right, so but anyway, um, here it is. These are two articles I had saved showing you some of the psyop events, and then we're gonna get even deeper into it. Now, these are some of the things that have been posted. Um, there's another one. I'll just show you. All right, from my phone that I had saved. So I'll show you right here. You can see it right here. If it will load, bear with me. The King of the Hill actor Jonathan Joss was killed in a homophobic hate crime years after the threat. After years of threats, husband says. So you can see it, and people are outraging about it. So that's one of the things that's been going on, and it's just bullshit because I got some other articles on my phone. I'm actually just gonna bring them up on the computer for you though to see. And but I'm gonna show you how people are outraged right now. The outrage is going on. So you got these two. There was plenty of them. All right. If you look up, if you just go here and look up, let's see if I can get it. If you just look up Johnathan Joss, we'll see how people are reacting. Um, yeah, I'm so glad someone said it right here. All right, I'm so glad someone said it right here. We're gonna get on this. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Well, no, this was different. Saki, I misinterpreted it. I thought they were talking about. It still affects. It's still in effect. But we're gonna look into some of these things. Um. So the first one is it says, "R.I.P. Jonathan Josh. You are our favorite backdoor man." It says New York Post journalists fighting for their life to use the word murdered while writing about a gay person who got killed by a homophobe. Victim called the killer stinky meanhead while drawing last breath, so it's self-defense. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh! John, I can't move my arm!
All right, so they're using Coyote Peterson here. You know, that's how the New York Post journalists are reacting, right? And here's another one. We'll get some comments too, but this one says the New York Post should feel ashamed to have posted this. It says, New York Post, King of the Hill voice actor Jonathan Joss killed in Texas shooting after argument with neighbor, and it was an argument. It says they burned down his house. Okay, they burned down his house. That's what a lot of people have been saying. They burned down his house. Now I looked more into this because I heard comment about it before I even made the lesson yesterday, and I don't think they burned this guy's house down. And I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give you proof why this is a fucking psyop. This guy was a schizophrenic. All right, this guy was. I don't know if he was a schizophrenic or what he was, but he had severe mental health issues. The guy was fucked in the head. All right, he was known for being fucked in the head. All right, it says they burned down his house, killed him and his husband's dog, showed them the dead dog's skulls, called them homophobic slurs, and then shot them. They didn't shoot them, he shot him. You got it wrong. That's not a fucking argument, and the New York Post shouldn't feel, and they should feel fucking ashamed to have posted this. Another person says, how the New York Post reports a gay man being murdered after having his home burned down and dog killed, and a trans woman resorting to self-defense when being assaulted. All right, and it shows you that. Um, but yeah, um, all these different things. It is, it says, I just hope nobody's going to make a news article trying to defend the culprit and make it sound like he was the victim, because at the current time, I wouldn't be surprised if, due to the current government, some shady agent would force them to make the victim the bad guy, to push their anti-you-know-what agenda. Well, it says people are already spreading rumors about him being an alcoholic and looking at kids weird on Facebook. Well, we'll look into that. As a matter of fact, we'll go and ask ChatGPT, what controversies were there with Jonathan Joss? Any mental health stuff predating 2025? Any issues? And you'll see it'll say yes. It will say yes, because there were. All right. So, Jonathan Joss, best known for voicing John Redcorn on King of the Hill, faced several personal challenges leading up to his tragic death on June 1st, 2025. It says personal struggles and mental health. In the final interview recorded just a day before his death, Joss candidly discussed a history with substance abuse and mental health issues. He also shared the profound grief of losing his home and his 3 dogs in a fire earlier that year, which he attributed to a propane heater that he had left on. Interesting. And we got news articles that prove that from back in January. All right, this is all a fucking psyop. It says right here. Oh, this is actually the actual post. All right, from My San Antonio. All right, we'll read it. All right. Um, so right down here, we'll move this out of the way real quick. It says, um, let's see. Um, let's see. No, but right here it says, when asked if he was sober now, Joss said no, as he'd already lost everything. One of the hosts asked Joss point blank if he was sober, to which Joss quickly responded, "No, I've already lost everything. My house burnt down. I ain't gonna give up drugs. I ain't gonna give up drinking. They're my friends." Joss explained. He talked briefly later about his drug addiction, which came after what he called a good run of acting jobs, which allowed him to exist in a different world from the one he knew. Um, now, um, you can see right here, Josh disagrees with the idea that he set his house on fire in January 2025. "I would never hurt my dogs." This guy was fucked in the head. All right, and I think this is not the article, but I got the article on my phone, so we'll look it up. But it says on the topic of his house burning down in January 2025. I think this is the one, right? Um, you can see it. Um, it's gonna block the title out, but you can see this is article. All right, you catch it right up there real quick on the top left right here. You see it? January 24th, 2025, right here. Put my mouse there. See? Look in that corner as I refresh it. All right? There you go. Let me hold this now. It's doing its thing. But let me see. Cool. Block all the cookies. Come on, man. Here we are. Anyway, so you can see right here, actor and San Antonio native Johnathan Joss lost 3 dogs in his childhood home in a Southside fire Thursday. I'm gonna show you where this fucking psyop comes into effect because it's bullshit. All right, and they're all lying about it. All right, I'm glad ChatGPT cut through that fucking lie. I'm gonna ask it something too. Um, it says um the McCollum High School grad, famous for his roles as the voice of John Redcorn in the animated series King of the Hill and Chief Ken Hotate in Parks and Recreation, said the vacant home lacked gas and electricity. "I don't have a job," Joss said via phone on Friday from a San Antonio hotel, "and now my 3 dogs died in my home. I can't even concentrate on work." Listen, 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 listen closely. Joss said he and his partner had lit a barbecue grill inside the house for warmth and to make some abuelita, all right, Mexican hot chocolate, all right, earlier Thursday. So they brought a fucking grill inside the goddamn house. You're not supposed to use a grill in the house, but they were sure they extinguished it before leaving at noon. Yeah, really, usually when you're drunken on drugs, you don't have quite the best ideas, okay? So I'm pretty sure you thought you extinguished it. It said to get lunch and to pick up supplies to clean the home. It says fire crews reportedly responded to the home in the 200 block of Dorsey Drive around 1 p.m. on Thursday. By the time Joss and his partner returned just before 2 p.m., the uninsured residence was a smoldering loss. This is a quote from Joss. "I told them it was my fault," Joss said. "Very easily could have started because of my stupidity." It said, and I think that's pretty much all we need to get from this article. That's pretty much it. They brought a fucking propane tank into the guy. A propane. They brought a barbecue grill, and I heard somewhere it was a propane heater. It might have been a propane grill into the house. What the fuck? Why are you gonna bring a grill in the house? I'm not gonna bring a grill into the house. He brought a grill into the house and thought he put it out. you know? But so now they're saying that it was now they're saying, "Oh, it was a hate crime." Well, what are you talking about? You said earlier before that you know, you never you never it's just I don't even know. People don't research anymore, so it's really easy to do. But anyway, right here, my closest friend said, "Jonathan, we know you set that fire. We know you did it for money." Joss explained. So there you go. I said, "Guys, my dogs were there. I would never hurt my dogs. I would never light my dogs on fire." He did add that he shot the little fuckers and I burned down the house, but it's unclear if he was joking. So he made jokes, "Oh, I shot the little fuckers and I burned down the house." And then he's saying that his friends knew that he set the fire. And then now people are saying they burned down his house, going, they burned down his home. Well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because if you go to the articles back from before he was even killed, it said that he brought a grill into the house. He brought a grill into the fucking house. Okay? This is Proverbs 14 and 15. It says, "The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going." And this goes for scripture and this goes for things that you're being told. Because everything's a fucking psyop, man. Everything's a lie. All right? Even ChatGPT knows it. It said he attributed to a propane heater that he left on. Now, so it's been a propane heater. It's been a propane grill, or not a propane grill, but an outside grill. And now it's been a homophobic attack. All right, a hate crime. Which one is it? Is it the propane heater? Is it the grill? Or is it or is it a homophobic attack? Which one is it? Because it doesn't add up. And when shit doesn't add up, something's amiss. Okay? Something's amiss. There's some lies going on here. Which one is it, man? Which one is it? So, and you can go and see here, they're saying, where was it? They said that when they returned to their burned down home to check the mail, they discovered the skull and harness of one of their deceased dogs. Now, reports are saying that it was strategically placed, all right, by the guy next door, all right, to horrify them or whatever. So, what's the real question? All right, this guy was on drugs. He was an alcoholic. He was known for being erratic. So you don't think he caused an issue with that guy and started shooting? Yeah, maybe the guy was homophobic. All right, the guy next door. Maybe he was, but none of this is adding up. None of this is adding up, man. And it sounds like a big fat fucking stinking lie to me. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT here. So far, I've heard that the house burned down because of a grill, to which John said it was his fault. Then I've heard it was because of a propane heater. Now the people are saying someone burnt it down in a hate crime towards gay people. None of this adds up. Which one is it? Why the cloak and dagger? See what it says. It says the circumstances surrounding Jonathan Joss's house fire and subsequent death have been the subject of various reports and statements, leading to some confusion and differing narratives. House on fire, causing confusion. On January 23rd, 2025, Jonathan Joss lost his childhood home and 3 dogs in a fire in San Antonio. Let me open this water. Joss stated that he had been using a propane heater to keep warm in the unoccupied house and left it on before leaving to eat. He acknowledged that mistakes happen and took responsibility for possibly leaving the heater on. However, he also suggested the possibility that someone might have been involved, or saying if someone came in and did it, who knows? The statement had led to some confusion, with varying reports about the cause of the fire. Some sources have mentioned a barbecue grill, while others cited a propane heater. The exact cause remains unclear. but Joss's own words indicate that he believed the fire was accidental, possibly due to the use of the propane heater. Allegations of hate crime. On June 1st, 2025, Johnathan Joss was fatally shot outside his burned down home. His husband, Tristan Kern D. Gonzalez, alleged that the shooting was homophobic hate crime. D. Gonzalez claimed that the suspect, Sigfredo Alvarez Ceja, shouted homophobic slurs before shooting Joss. He also stated that the couple had faced years of verbal assaults and threats to burn down their home. San Antonio Police Department has stated that as of now, there's no evidence to classify the shooting as a hate crime, though the investigation is ongoing. So there's still no fucking evidence on it. The confusion regarding the cause of the house fire stems from Joss's own statements, which suggest both personal responsibility and the possibility of external involvement. The allegations of hate crime in his death are based on his husband's account, but law enforcement has not confirmed this as the motive at the time. The situation is complex with differing accounts and ongoing investigations. As more information becomes available, a clearer picture may emerge. How convenient for all this during Pride Month. Seems like artificial outrage bait. Oh. So, and it's going to say it's different things, but, and the guy's on, was he or was he not on drugs and alcohol? All right. What drugs? I'm curious. Let's see. He didn't necessarily say, but that's some crackhead shit. Anyway, we don't know if it's a propane heater or if it was a grill or if someone came and burned it. Look, why so much? Like I said, why so much cloak and dagger? What the fuck's going on, man? What's going on? Why? It's a psyop. It's the textbook definition of a psyop. All right, all these different things, and people are getting outraged. All right, about it. Right where you look at all these people how they're acting. No, it's because they're gay. It's because they're gay. It's because we're being killed and we're being mutiled. They killed his dog. Wait, it says apparently from the post, his husband said that they killed their dog in a brutal way. I wonder if they'll say something about that or gloss over it. I thought the dogs burn up in the fire. Thought the dogs burn up in the fire. Now they are being brutally killed. Which one is it, man? Was it the fire? Did someone set fire to his house, or was it the grill? Was it the grill, or was it the propane heater? And their dogs burned down in the fire. Now, was it that their dogs burned down in the fire, or did the guy shoot his own dogs? Did the guy shoot his own dogs, or did someone else kill their dogs in a brutal way? Because what's up with all the cloak and dagger, man? What the fuck is it? It says, just like George Floyd, people spread rumors of him being a drug addict and a killer. He's a self-proclaimed drug addict, man. The guy admitted he was struggling with drug abuse, right? So what the fuck are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Now, I'm going to go to the controversial comments because that's where the sense is. If you want to know where all the sense in the comments are, go to the controversial ones. Let's go and see.
1, 2.
Let's see. It says to make it even worse, minutes before he got shot, he found his dog's skull and harness in his mailbox. Well, no, wait a minute. Now I heard it was below the mailbox. Now, was it below the mailbox or was it in the wreckage? Why is nobody talking about this? All right? Why is nobody talking about this? What's up with all the bullshit, man? What's up with all the bullshit? Don't make no damn sense. All right? Let me get this and then we're going to go and grab some scriptures. All right? Right here. Right here. His house burned down and died in January. He returned to check his mail, got in an argument with his neighbor, shots were fired, and he died. The homophobic slurs have not been confirmed. The Post reported the facts have not been confirmed. This is unnecessary outrage. All right. Down here it says people don't want facts. I'm upvote that. People don't want facts. They want absolute outrage. That's why we people claiming the guy who shot him burnt his house down and then displayed his dog's corpses, despite there being overwhelming evidence, such as interviews with Joss about his house burnt down, where he said he must have accidentally burnt his own house down with the grill he was using to heat the inside. It's why people are chastising the New York Times for just reporting literal interviews and facts gathered from witnesses. It doesn't link. It doesn't link up with the outrage narrative, so it must be evil propaganda, right? There you go. It says it doesn't help. There's a select group of absolute psychos out there jumping to every single one of these stories and doing everything they can to diminish, minimize, and gaslight these stories because they can't handle their own personal narratives being busted by actual proof of hate crimes. Yada yada yada. So, it's just a bunch of, says it's also your brand on Reddit. Perception that Reddit is different is one of the reasons, of the reasons the most insidious social media out there. Blah 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 blah. Why is everyone on Reddit so regarded? And they said that not to get banned for saying the word retarded, and it's true. Let's see. Way to downplay a literal hate crime. Journalism accomplished. Um, let's see what else we got here. Um, let's see. Um, it's just, they're not talking about it. Right here, let's get it. I'm gonna upload this one. It says, Johnathan said in the statement that he'd likely left something on that started the fire. I haven't seen anything about people showing him dog skulls, and the police have yet to find proof that the killer did so for homophobic reasons. Like that should matter at all. The lady in the second panel has stabbed people before with little provoca- uh, provocation. Fuck you. So being the fault of the mailman is dubious. Um, what else do we have? The murder's false. He burned down his own house on accident by lighting a grill on side. He shouldn't have been shot, but the neighbor didn't burn down his house. He should have been shot, so I'm actually not going to like that. Said the neighbor did go through the burnt rubble to pick out parts of his dog's body to show him and make him angry. Don't pretend he's a saint. And I like to say, what does this say? It said, we have exactly one person on record framing this, things this way. I'm going to like that because it's true. And it's the partner of the deceased. Joss killed his own dog via negligence, by the way. His house was condemned by the city because it was poorly taken care of, so they wouldn't supply utilities to it. And Joss used a grill to warm it and killed his pets in so doing. That is sickening levels of negligence, bordering on animal cruelty. It's sad, but Joss was very unwell at the time of his death, and I expect we'll find out more in the near future that will back that up. It says that makes yelling homophobic slurs, trespassing, desecrating a body, and ultimately killing a man okay. They just said that there's no proof on record of them doing anything with the dog's body other than his partner, right? So these people just want outrage. They want outrage, and they just want something that fits their media. All right, they want something that fits their media. Um, what else? What else do we have? People just doing their thing. But yeah, man, let's get some scriptures. It's a psyop. All right. Actually, a matter of fact, let's go here and let's get rid of this, and I'll open it up and again. Get a new one. We'll do what are signs of a psyop. All right. Emotional manipulation. Content that triggers intense fear, anger, or confusion. Oh, anger. Heavy use of shocking imagery or emotionally charged language. There it is, emotionally charged. Repetitive messaging aimed at reinforcing emotional responses. There you go. It's fucking hitting every nail on the on the head. Probably false or misleading claims mixed with partial truths. There we go. Manipulated photos, videos, or documents. Not so much. Dubious sources cited as experts without credibility or transparency. Astroturfing, the illusion of grassroots support or opposition that is actually manufactured opposition. Bots are fake accounts amplifying a specific message or trend online, which Reddit's known for having a lot of bots. Anomalous or coordinated activity. Sudden coordinated appearance of certain narratives across platforms. And they're all on Twitter saying, this was a hate crime. This was a hate crime. All right. Identical or nearly identical messages shared by different accounts or influencers. Boom. Narrative inconsistencies. Shifting stories or justifications as new information emerges. Claims that lack internal consistency or contradict known facts. That's what's happening, man. That's what's happening. Boom. And we don't even have to go and get these. I'll scroll so you can go and read them if you want. But yeah, man, it's a psyop. It's textbook psyop. It hits every single point, and it's a psyop, man. It's a psyop, and the average American is too fucking dumb to understand what a psyop is. They don't understand that they're literally being lied to. They don't understand that they're under mind control, and all these things are just, they're just being lied to, man. They're just being lied to, and this obviously stinks. All right, it's not truthful. All right, there's a bunch of lies going on with it. Which one is it? You got to ask yourself: is it the propane heater? Is it the grill? Or did someone burn their house down? And did someone really leave their skulls out? Or did no one leave the dog skulls out? Was that true? Is that not true? What do we know? We know that he was on drugs. We know that he was an alcoholic, possibly. All right. We know that he said he didn't want to change because those things are his friends. All right. We know how people on drugs and alcohol act erratically. All right. So all these things don't really go with the narrative that's being pushed by the general masses. So you got to ask yourself, the fuck's going on? All right. It sounds like you're being lied to. It sounds like you're being lied to. All right. And you are being lied to. And I'd be willing to bet, almost 99% that this situation did not happen as they're playing it off to the media. So let's grab some scriptures. Let's get Proverbs 12 and 19. This is why it's important to tell truth, because your bullshit it gets found out real quick, E. All right. And, all I was doing since I saw these posts, I looked in more to it because I remember hearing something about the propane tank the other day. And then I looked into it more, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's too many inconsistencies going on. All right, it's bullshit. There's some bullshit going on. So Proverbs 12 and 19, it says, "The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment." And here's the thing on Reddit and all these social media programs, or platforms, when you go, and it's really a program, and that's why they're called programs, because they're programmed, all right, for you to be programmed. And when you go on these things and you have a differing opinion than the masses, all right, they have bots, all these different type of, a bot is like a robot, all right, an AI. It's set up, all right, to go and, like AI, you can set up a bot, all right, to go and push certain ideologies and agendas. And they say that what percentage of Reddit is bots? A high amount, all right? What percent of Reddit is bots? Um, I guess they said, there's a lot of talks about. Someone said 60% bots, 40% human. There's differing things, but you see right here, Reddit spam bots. How many bots are on Reddit? It says the report showed 91% of the content violations were due to content manipulation and spam, which were predominantly bot-driven activities. You can see right here, according what percentage of Reddit that is false propaganda. They said bad bots made up 30%, and then all these different types of things. So, and it's part of the dead internet theory. It's a theory, all right. It's a conspiracy theory, but it's that there's not as many people interacting on the internet as it is bots. All right, it's mostly just bots, and I do believe so. All right, so yeah, man, and that's when you go and lie. All right, they made this cunningly this cunning deceptive tactic. All right, that really wasn't too cunning or great, because it was able to be cut right through. But it shows you that with a little bit of research, that the lip of truth is established forever. This guy, I don't think anybody burnt this guy's house down. All right, this guy even self proclaimed said he left something on. All right, and that he thinks it's the reason. Now all of a sudden his partner, all right, because he's all offended and outraged because his partner's dead. I'm sure he's grieving. He's like, they killed him. They did it. They did it. Sure. Sure. All right. And usually, if you're a drug addict, usually your partner's a drug addict as well. So I'd be very surprised if that person isn't on drugs as well. So that's just something, food for thought. Food for thought. Let me grab a drink here. Food for thought. All right. Um, let's get Proverbs 12 and 22. It reads, lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. Not that these Edomites care, because there's no one as profane as Esau, but that's who control these media. Really, not even just Edomites, but Amalek, all right, the so-called Jewish people, the small hatters, right, 1948ers. All right, and there's even lies. It's all this lie and cloak and dagger behind everything. All right, you go in to look and you find out that the Germans helped them get to Israel, and that they didn't even occupy Israel until 1948. And where were they before that? And you don't. And then you look into it and you find out that that there was however many people, a million people or whatever that were killed in the Holocaust. All right, and I'm saying it like that for a reason. All right, switch the letters around, the Holocaust. All right, and you can go and look into that, and you can find out that there was, if there was a million people killed in that, there was close to 480 or 500 thousand non Jewish people that were killed in that event. So that it's again manufactured outrage. I can't remember how many people there were. It was so many. How many people? What was it? It was like half, 6 million. So how many? Right here, you can see there was allegedly there was 11 million victims of the Holocaust, 6 million Jewish and 5 million non-Jewish. So a lot of people, yes, but and those numbers we know are inflated. Um, but they're pretty close with Jewish people and non-Jewish. All right, so you're acting like, oh, we were specifically targeted. Well, 5 million non-Jewish people were also killed as well. So that's only a million difference. All right, a million in difference. And if you look at, and we are the most oppressed people, don't you know we're so oppressed? Oh my gosh, we're so oppressed. Well, how many natives, all right, were killed? All right, because that was I can't even remember. Um, they say 10 million. Here it is. No, 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 right here. European settlers killed 56 million indigenous. All right, and again, there were so many that it actually cooled the earth. All right, so lies. All right, you liar. All right, another lie. And they lied about the lies they lied about, quoting what Elder Manata Zatba from GMS South Carolina always says. These devils are just always lying. They lie about everything. Okay, they lie about what's in the Bible. All right, they lie about what color the Lord is. They lie about what color they are. All right, they say they're white, you're red. All right, they lie about what color we are. They say we're black, we're brown. All right, they lie about how long the Earth's been around. They lie about how long these lakes have been around. They lie about evolution. All right, they lie about the events that happened. They lied about how many people they killed. They lie about how many people died in certain events. They lie about who they are biblically. They lie about who we are biblically. They lie about what. It's easier to name things that they haven't lied about, which is nothing. All right, than it is to name all the things that they lied about, because everything they lied about. All right, they lied about how colonization went. All right, the discovery of America. They lied about why they didn't tell you that he brought a Hebrew translator. If there was a Hebrew translator, they'll lie and they'll tell you something else. But if you look into history, it's because Christopher Columbus believed that lost tribes of Israel were in America. All right, they were scattered abroad, and they during the diaspora, and he believed that one of those places that they were scattered was the Americas, and that's why he went to set out. All right, and look for them, because America had already been discovered, way before. He wasn't the first person that discovered it. He came with a purpose, all right, of colonization, and also try to find these people. So they lie to you about that, though. They'll lie to you and tell you that he was the first person. They'll lie to you and tell you that after the slaves were released, everything was just happy go lucky and everything was just fine. They don't tell you about all the laws that were put into place. They'll lie about those things. They don't ever, when they teach about that, they don't ever teach about all the lies, the no trespassing signs. Trespassing was a law invented to keep slaves off of property. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. All right, well, you brothers and sisters do know that, but they lie about all these things. It's a constant state of a fucking lie in America, and nobody wants to do anything about it. I'm talking about as far as Israel. They don't want to get out of that mindset. They don't want to do anything about it. They just want to stay in this mindset of being lied to. All right. Lies and robbery. This is Nahum 3:1. It says, Nahum 3:1, woe to the bloody city. It's all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. And who's the prey? All right, Jake, Israel. All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and they love here. We're the prey. All right, yet our people want to stay here. All right, and it's Esau society, yet they want to stay here. Like it's they're gonna have a fucking good old happy time or something, man. Let's get another one. We already got. Let's get Luke. All right, curtailing off of Proverbs 12 and 22. Let's get Luke 8 and 17, which reads, "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." And this for you Edomites out there, man. These lies. All right, again, uh Salaki, I said Proverbs 12 and 22. What I meant to say was Proverbs 12 and 19. All right, dealing with the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. All right, Proverbs 12 and 22 is lying lips are an abomination of the Lord, but they that deal truly are His delight, which we got as well earlier. But that scripture I was referencing was not that. But yeah, man. So nothing, nothing you devils do. All right, you try to make things secret or hide different things. You got to think about Bohemian Grove. You got to think about things like Epstein's Island, all these different things. All right, Lolita Express, right? All these different types of things that you try to make secret. All these things were brought and came abroad eventually. Okay, so you devils really can't hide, and it's prophetic that you Edomites and the wicked shall be, and then shall that wicked be revealed. Okay, and you're just getting revealed, man. It's really, to quote the scriptures, not it says it shall be as if you wiped a looking glass. All right, and that's really what's happening to you. That looking glass is being wiped on you, devils, man, and you're seeing through it and saying, oh shit, right? You couldn't see before because it was a little foggy, but now you have the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You wipe that looking glass, and you can see right through this devil. You know who he is. All right, you know he's the devil. All right, you know how he acts, and more people are coming into that are coming to that conclusion now, regardless if they're following this truth to the full extent. People are you know becoming more wary of the so-called white man. You can see it with the black community, which is a great thing. It's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, that ain't enough. All right, you have to come into the full conclusion and understanding and knowledge of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and come back to your heritage. You can't just know that the white man's an evil man and then leave it at that. That ain't enough. All right? You can't just know you're an Israelite and then leave it at that. That ain't enough. All right? You got to call, profess the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, do the work in the will of the Father, put off the old man, put on the new, start doing what's right, start offending less. All right? And hey, man, getting prepared for the judgment and destruction of the society, man. It's not just, oh, I'm black and black don't crack and black is beautiful. Yeah, you're right. Black is beautiful. Black don't crack. It's great. Cool. But the thing you need to realize is this ain't just a building up black people fest. All right. And you still, a lot of you so-called black people out there still have problems with Latinos. All right. And a lot of you Latinos still have problems with so-called black people. Now we have issues with our, and so on and so forth. But a lot of you have issues in the capacity of like you don't think they're Israel or that you're not related in any some type of way or you're not brothers. Yeah, we know Issachar got some shit going on that can be irritating, and we know that Judah got some shit going on that can be irritating. So sometimes Mexicans, so-called, can annoy the shit out of you. Sometimes black people can annoy the shit out of you. We get it, all right? And inter-tribe uh, um, hostilities that happen, we get it, all right? Especially in a worldly standpoint. Not really so much when you come into this truth because you don't act like that when you're in this truth, all right? That shows you that all that shit just comes from the world. All right. When you're in the truth, a so-called black man and a so-called Mexican man, there's no there is a difference, but there's no it's not like out in the world between a black person and a Mexican man. Yo man, I was out here standing on the street and you're like, oh, see, and they don't have that. All right, because it's that stupidity. It's manufactured shit. That's not a culture. That's something that was built up by and division that was basically set up by Esau. All right, when you see a so-called black man and a so-called Mexican man, all right, in a camp, all right, they flow well. It's perfect. Getting the scriptures done, it's great. All right, but it's when it's out in the world shit. See, all that stuff is out in the world shit. All right, like it's Iskar acts different out in the world. Jake acts different out in the world. Okay, and there's just different things that you see. But at the end of the day, look, you still got Jake that don't want to acknowledge that uh uh the Latinos and Native Americans are Israelites. All right, so there's still that shit going on, and you still have you can't put down the pork. All right, I can't put down the pork. I can't put down the pork. All right, motherfucker, Dave Blunt. You can call your ass Dave Pork. All right. It's 1 minute past Sabbath, so I could do that singing now. But yeah, you can't put down the pork. I can't put down the pork. I'm eating all the chitlins. That's you, man. You're gonna die over some pork, over some chitlins, some doo doo noodles, right? And some greens that have that ham hock in it, or whatever. Some abomination. Some people are making greens with fucking seafood and shit now. Just eat the goddamn greens. All right, you can put other stuff in it. All right, you can put different than when I don't make the greens. When the greens made at our house, usually we use either beef or turkey bacon. All right, you can put that in it as a little bit of meat to add the flavor to it or something like that. But well, I can't even use pork. You ain't gonna be as good without the pork. Just shut the fuck up, Jake, and stop being an asshole, man. And you're staying in society. All right, you want to stay in this place, and it's frustrating as hell, man. It's frustrating as hell. And here it is. You see this happen. You see the shit coming out with Diddy. You see the shit that's going on. I think Diddy's an Edomite. You see all the weird shit that's going on, and you see all the evilness in the world. You see the type of shit that if you're not an Edomite, that you have to do to get ahead. All right, getting your butthole played with, and going in and popping a man, doing some shit with some baby oil, and all this different type of weird type of shit. And knowing that you're less likely to get accepted for a job, the abolishment of DEI, all right, all these different types of things. All right, people say, all now the new thing is black fatigue. We're sick of black people. We're sick of black people, and that's probably gonna be my next lesson, Lord willing, dealing with Esau in their hate. But all these different things, and you want to stay in this motherfucker, man. You want to stay here when all that you're gonna get is beat up, stabbed, killed, murdered, and lied to. So what's the point? All right, and you're not gonna prosper in this society. You're not even meant to prosper in this society. So you want to stay in this lie tunnel, this tunnel of lies, all right, and just get lied to. How retarded, man, can you be? All right, I'm not keeping it real dumb. Quote Chris Rock. He said, "Ninjas love keeping it real dumb." All right. Oh yeah, no, that's what he said. He says a ninja's favorite thing to do is to not know. Ah, man, I don't know that shit. I'm keeping it real dumb. It's true, man. Real dumb. That's what you. And with Jake, it's encouraged. All right, our people encourage a lack of intelligence, right? Our people encourage folly and foolishness and retardation. All right. Oh, you think you going to college? Well, all of a sudden you Mr. Smart, Mr. Know-it-all, Mr. You gonna be better than your family because you gonna want to college. But you're gonna shut someone down because in college is a fucking scam and a lie as well. But regardless, setting that aside, they don't know that, so you're gonna shut someone down because they're trying to better themselves and not just go and work at some regular job. I work at a regular job. I've worked regular jobs, but I'm not gonna hate on someone because they went to college. I'm gonna say, hey, did it work out? Did you get the job? Because I know a lot of people that go to college don't get the job. But I'm not gonna hate on. Oh, well, you try to get a higher education. Oh, you're trying to be smart now. Dumb, dumb, right? And another, that's actually a funny saying. That I thought about that. I just realized that in me saying that that's actually a Jake parent will tell you that when you're acting up. They say, "Oh, you trying to get smart? You trying to get smart?" And which shows you that smart is like a bad thing in Jake. That's what and I know what it means. They use it for you trying to think you're a know-it-all or whatever. You trying to be smart. Really shouldn't even be an insult at the point because yeah, you should be trying to get smart. All right, it should be you trying to get your ass whooped. Right, is what it really should be. But it's this place. Just it's filled with lies, man, and it's just it's retarded. This place sucks, and the Lord doesn't like it. So actually, let's get Proverbs 6 and 16 through what 18 and 19, and then we'll close out probably. Yeah, through 19. Um, Let me see if there's anything else I want to grab. Let's see. Bear with me. Um, let's get let's get Proverbs 14 and 5. It says Proverbs 14 and 5. No, that's not the one I wanted. Proverbs, where did the scripture go? Well, let's get a couple. Let's get Proverbs 19 and 9. And that reads, "A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish." So those people that lie, liars, all right, they're going to die. All right. Yes, and lying is a sin worthy of death. And there's a difference between lying and yikwabbing. If you got to quote unquote lie to get yourself out of a bad situation spiritually, then that's one thing. All right. When you someone's at your work, Hey man, why you got that beard out? You remind me of one of those Hebrew Israelites. Have you heard about those Hebrew Israelites? Who? The who? Hebrew Israelites? I think I've heard some about them. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think I've heard about them. Why? What's up? All right. Well, you a Hebrew Israelite, man? What makes you think I'm a Hebrew Israelite? Tell me. I'm curious. What makes you think me? Right? And not necessarily lying, but trying to, uh, smoothly getting your way out of a situation. For example, all right, you try to do it without lying, but if you really, if it's something, that you're gonna, you hate gay people, man. No, I don't hate gay people. All right, you might have to do that. Okay. Now with the truth, eh, in the end days, you can't not profess. If they ask you in the end days, if they say, "Are you an Israelite?" You have to say yes. You can't lie on that. But at work, I don't know. I try to work my way out of that situation. Make something up. I don't because I don't necessarily want to tell a lie about that, but I also don't want to answer the question. But I've been asked stuff like, "Oh, do you hate gay people?" or something like that, or whatever. And actually, there was a gay guy that worked at my work. I've talked about him in the past, but he don't work there no more. Call all you how about you, man, shy, or his little lackeys. And he came up to me one day and he said, "Are you homophobic?" And I said, "Nah, I ain't afraid of gay people." And he just started laughing and walked off. All right, because that's phobia. All right, a phobia means you're scared of someone. I ain't scared of them. Quote my wife. She says, I'm homophobic. I am scared of them. I'm scared that their demon. If I'm too close to them, their demons will jump out and get on me." Which is true. That is a very true thing. You don't want to get on. You have demons hop on you, and demons do hop from people to people, and that's definitely not one you want on. All right, that's definitely not one. And that's what happens to those people. Those people go to school and they're around these homosexuals, and they start hanging around them. They start thinking, hmm, well, maybe they're not so bad. Maybe love is love. You start having those thoughts, right? Or you find yourself, your brain, the psyop, you can feel it start to almost kick in, and then you kick that shit out. Like you'll be watching a show, and there'll be like two gay guys, and one of them die, and one will be crying, "Oh, I loved you." And for a minute, you almost feel sad, and then you realize they're gay, and you're like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" They're psyops, man. These psyops are working. Like, I don't feel sorry for these motherfuckers, but the way they paint it, they forcibly paint it in a way that you experience emotion, like, "Oh, he was my friend." You start thinking, man, yeah, you had a relationship for a long time, and all of a sudden they die. That would be sad. But in that whole time, in your mind, you're framing it as a woman. But then you look back on the screen, it's a man. You're like, yeah, that's never mind. What the fuck? I see what they're trying to go for, but nah, right? But yeah, um, let's get Proverbs 6:16 through 19. Then we're gonna close out. How long have we been going for anyhow? Almost an hour. Proverbs 6:16 through 19. These six things doth the Lord hate. Yea, seven are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Now, this Bible is directed to the Israelites, all right, and that we're not supposed to be doing those things. But you know who hits the T on every single one of these? Esau, Edom, because that's what they do. They're proud, they lie, they shed innocent blood, they devise wicked imaginations. All right, constantly got to keep running to where they can get involved in some wickedness and some mischief. Right? They say things that didn't happen. They say things happen that never happened. All right, and they sow discord among brothers. Oh, well, he did this, he did that. All right, psyops and spies and agents. That's what they do. All right, it's old Esau trickery tactic. So yeah, man, this whole situation. Lucky for a lot of the rambling and then getting all the scriptures right at the end. I should have spaced them out better, or put not spaced them out so much. But yeah, man, this whole situation to me smells like shit. All right, and it stinks. And if something smells like shit and it looks like shit, all right, well, 9 times out of 10, it's some shit. So I don't think the situation happened the way they're telling it. I think it's manufactured outrage to an extent. I think they're getting all these alphabet people rattled up. All right, and in turn, they're getting all the non-alphabet people rattled up because the alphabet people are rattled up. It's just manufactured outrage. It's bullshit. Esau's tactics, doing what they do. And hey, Lord willing, this lesson will stay up. But that's where we're going to close out. All right. So, Lord willing, lesson was edifying. If it was, you can drop a comment down below. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, Hashem Dash. I want to say shalom to your brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. we're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.